Hey, what's up guys? Tom from Positively Diagnostics. Today we are working on a 2001 Volkswagen Passat with a 1.8 turbo engine. The customer complaint is the ABS and brake light are flashing or on. So let me get you a shot of the dash and then we will get the scan tool hooked up, see what kind of faults we have. We'll just turn the key on here, fire this thing up. Cruise light off. So these are the main concerns. ABS, brake light are flashing. So let's get the scan tool hooked up. We will go with Otis, the factory scan tool, see what kind of trouble codes we have. Okay, so we're just going with the factory scan tool. We want to select brakes. We're going to identify this control module. And control module cannot be identified. Do you want to enter it installed anyway? No, we do not. So what it looks like is we have no communication with this. We'll just do a full code scan and see what kind of trouble codes we have in other modules. Alright, so we just did a full code scan, and the control modules with red are the ones that have faults. So we'll go to Dtc Memory List. These are all the modules that have faults. ECM, we have a P1649 data bus drivetrain missing message from the ABS control module. Central, so that's our comfort module, diagnostic interface. That fault's intermittent, not going to worry about that one. This would be in the cluster, brake control module, no communication, so that's our ABS, no comm. And the gateway, which is in the instrument cluster on this, I believe, brake control module, no communication. So we'll go back here, and that is the issue with this car, is we have no communication with this ABS module. And it's saying, hey, you know, we can't talk to this control module. Should we enter it installed? We can, but it's not going to do anything. It's going to ask us what it is, so that doesn't really matter. So what we need to do is get a wiring diagram and go straight to this ABS module and do some voltage checks. That's just a shot of where it lives. ABS module, pump right here. So we're just going to be doing some checks down here at this connector. We need a wiring diagram. Alright guys, so I have the wiring diagram printed out. We're just going to go through this real quick. I'm going to take and highlight these powers and grounds. So this is our J104, that's our ABS module. And it looks like we have power feed. It's S7 fuse. It's a 10 amp, and that comes from the ignition switch. That looks like it's pin 15. It's going to be a black with blue wire. Don't see any more on this page. There's another power feed right here. There's actually two of them. S53, it's going to be a 50 amp that supplies power feed on pin 17 and 18. Here we have two grounds. So our grounds are going to be 19 and 16. Two brown wires. Let's go to the next page. None on that one. That looks like it. Alright, so power feed there on pin 15, two power feeds 17, 18, two grounds. So 3 power feeds, 2 grounds. Seems pretty simple. So we'll go with the test light. Check our powers and grounds. my light helps the situation here. Does that help make it worse? Can't tell. A little cover to pop that off, and you can see our mess of wires here. We'll start with the power feeds. Test light, we will go to ground. When we touch power, we will get a light. Check my light. Touching the battery positive, my light does light. Alright. Let's go back to the first page here. Alright, so pin 15. If you guys can see that. Pin 15 is a black with blue wire. Comes from a fuse. Was S7, it's a 10 amp. You can see these numbers on here. Is pin 15. My light's helping there. Alright, so that is pin 15. That is our feed from the ignition through a 10 amp fuse. That is good. Let's go to our next power feed. It's a 50 amp fuse S53, and we have two pin 17 and 18. Red and black 4 gauge wires. It's got to be these two huge ones right here on the end. So power feed there. Power feed there. 17, 18. Alright, so those are our power feeds. That was it. And now just these two grounds right here, so we'll switch our polarity. Test light going to battery positive. When we touch ground, we get a light. So that's a good ground right there. Good ground right there. That is it. So we have good power feeds, good grounds, and the last check I would like to do is there are 2 CAN wires on the back side over here. Just unplug this, we'll do a resistance check the network. Get the spec on the network. Alright, so the last 2 that we've done have been 60 ohms, and the terminating resistors were in the ECM. And same thing with this one. spec of 60 to 72 ohms. Terminating resistors are in the ECM. So we'll just unplug it right here and do a resistance check. Alright, just using a simple voltmeter. We could even do our power and ground checks like this too. So our ignition power feed, 11.8, battery's a little low. This one right here. Can't get that one all the way down there. Let's plug this real quick. So we'll just touching on these two pins. Those are our two main power feeds, 11.8, 11.8. And then the ignition feed was this black with blue. .8. But so powers and grounds are good, and we could have also did our test light checks right now. That would put a load on the circuit. But these last two, these two orange wires right here are our CAN wires. So we're just going to switch this to ohms. Alright, so I just switched the meter on ohms. I'm connected to these CAN lines. This is looking at the network. Our spec was 60 to 72 ohms. We have 66.2. And I have to hold these pins there, but these pins are just sitting in here. They're not stuffed in there spreading any terminals. So from our ABS module out to the network is good, and what this needs is an ABS module, and I think that you can get these separately. So that's pretty much it for this one. Alright guys, so I'm just gonna, we don't even have to do this, I'm just gonna set this up, set the Pico up, just because I just want to see what this network looks like. You don't have to do this, and we especially don't have to do this because we have good powers and grounds to the module. We have good terminating resistance from the module out. This is kind of just messing around. So we will turn, put this on a 10 volt screen. That's channel 2. 10 volt. And I do not know which one is which. So I will just pick. I know one's CAN high and the other is CAN low. Alright guys, this last part is just a little bit of experimentation, just looking at what this network looks like. Blue trace is going to be our CAN low, 2.5 volts to 1.5 volts. I have the cursor set up here so you can see the measurements. And then the red trace is our CAN high, and it looks like a 2.5 to 3.5 volt. So typical CAN high and low. This part was unnecessary given our terminating resistance from the ABS module out through the network. So good powers and grounds, good terminating resistance. Here's the network and what it looks like. Alright guys, so another simple one, ABS module, no comm. And we have good powers and grounds, good resistance, good network, and the CAN signals look okay. So this one needs an ABS module. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get you an after. If I can, I will. I believe that you can get the module separate and you don't have to mess with any fluid or anything on the pump. You just pull the module out of the side, put the new one in, recoat it. We could not communicate with this one, so we weren't able to pull the coating or anything like that. So they have online coating, but you never know if that's going to work or not, especially on these older cars. So if I can get you in after, I will. If not, that's okay. Verified this needs an ABS module. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.